Hello guys, Ancient Gameplays, I'm Fabio Pisco and welcome to my channel. As for today's video, we're gonna focus on something that I never brought to this channel, gaming monitors. Even the ones that I bought for myself, like my LG 34GN 850, weren't reviewed in the channel as I was focusing more on GPUs. Although some time ago KTC came to me with a challenge of reviewing two of their 27 inches monitors, and after I searched a bit I actually came to the conclusion that, damn, they do have some really good deals that could actually benefit my viewers. And well, here we are. KTC is not new by any means, and their company was founded in 1995, and they were only working as OEM manufacturers for some premium and mid-tier monitors, meaning that the brand that was stamped in the monitor wasn't KTC, but the display panel was. And in 2021, after more than 25 years of being solely an OEM, KTC released their gaming brand that has been getting more popular over the years due to their good price-performance monitors. And the ones in this review are the KTC H27T22 and the KTC M27P20. Let's start with the KTC H27T22, a fast IPS 160Hz 1440p monitor with support for the most basic HDR10 that currently sells at only $250. In terms of assembling, the process is actually quite easy, as the monitor brings an inbuilt screw on the base that you only need to rotate in order to attach properly to the monitor's arm. That same arm also easily attaches to the monitor with a sliding mechanism that will lock the monitor to its place. This makes the whole process screwless, with no need for screwdrivers or any kind of additional tools, which is always a plus. The main connection for this monitor is DisplayPort, and that's exactly the technology of cable included, and the cable itself isn't top tier but will definitely do its job. And this is the KTC M27P20, a mini LED fast IPS 160Hz 4K monitor that supports HDR 1000, in between many other things actually, and while the fast IPS monitors had a normal cardboard box, the mini LED features a bigger and more detailed one, with everything well separated and a specific box for the cables and accessories. The mounting mechanism is the same as the lower tier model, making the mounting so easy that even a child could do it. Well, as long as they have Popeye's arms, because these monitors are actually quite heavy. It also brings a mild screen protection with the KTC logo, which feels quite good to peel off. And looking at the two monitors side by side, they don't look much different besides the format and size of their base. The main differences are in the back, with both presenting LED backlights, but with the mini LED one being thicker and having a more protruding backlight, standing out quite more when you have it against the wall. Both monitors use a 2-piece power adapter, meaning that none of them use the converter inside the monitor, which is kind of standard nowadays, with the mini LED having a bigger adapter mostly due to some features like the 90 watts reverse charging. The mini LED M27P20 also brings several cables, a USB Type-C one, a DisplayPort for higher refresh rates, an HDMI cable in case you want to use HDMI 2.1 instead of DisplayPort, and it brings these screws that I sincerely don't know what they're for. Maybe for an external monitor's arm. Who knows? In terms of ergonomics, the monitors have an adjustable height of 130mm, swivels up to 45 degrees, and can be vertically used as well for things such as programming. Or let's say even people that like to have one normal monitor and one set vertically for maybe better ergonomics in terms of workflow or something like that. But it does look cool and it does support the feature. Both of them do actually. As for inputs and outputs, the M27P20 includes two USB 3 Type-A, one USB 3 Type-B, and one USB Type-C that supports up to 90 watts of reverse charging, meaning that you can indeed use your monitor to charge your smartphone and it will be as fast or close to as fast as the normal wall charging. On top of that, all these connections support the use of a feature called KVM switch that allows you to use your connected mouse and keyboard on the same computer you're receiving image from. And this means that if you connect your mouse and keyboard to the monitor, they will work with whatever computer you're working with. So if you change your computer, they will work with that computer. If you just change the monitor to another computer, they will work with that computer as well. They will work with whatever computer is displaying image to that same monitor. And that's a very nice feature. The monitor also features built-in speakers, but they're the basics of the basics. Basically, they're just there to bail you out of having no sound. The H27T22 brings less goods on the input/output department. It brings only one USB Type-A and the usual 3.5mm headphone jack. And even the connections are kind of a bit cut down, bringing HDMI 2.0 instead of 2.1 and DisplayPort 1.2 instead of 1.4, meaning that you can indeed use those 165Hz if you're using DisplayPort, while if you're using HDMI, you'll be limited to 144Hz. And this might actually seem bad, but it really isn't, as the monitor brings a DisplayPort cable and most GPUs nowadays also bring more DisplayPorts than HDMI ones. And by the way, both these monitors support adaptive sync, meaning that you can use them with FreeSync or G-Sync, and once again meaning that you can use them on your Intel, AMD or Nvidia GPU. All of them will work. As for the image quality, these monitors look good without the need of much tweaking, with the M27P20 mini LED presenting quantum dot technology and having 98% coverage of DCI-P3, with the H27T22 not being much behind in that department. But in order to make them look even better and more accurate, I kind of calibrated them. For me, these are the best settings for SDR content, but of course, you may use them as a base and adjust them according to your taste and needs. Right after that, I tested Blurbuster's UFO on both monitors, and to avoid either ghosting or overshooting, you want to use both monitors with the overdrive settings set to low if you're using them at their max refresh rate. Because using no overdrive will increase the amount of ghosting, while using any setting higher than low will produce overshooting, also known as inverse ghosting. And I would really like to deep dive into it, but with the equipment that I own, it wouldn't be possible, sadly. And let me just remind you that both these monitors use fast IPS panels with only 1 millisecond pixel response time, both leading to amazing motion clarity, mostly needed for fast-paced first-person shooters like Counter-Strike, Valorant, and so on. The M27P20 mini LED though goes even further in that department, since it supports MPRT, Motion Picture Response Time, which basically allows higher motion clarity. Be aware though that MPRT turns off the backlighting for a portion of each frame, meaning that overshooting won't happen because you're not showing the full frame, allowing you to use higher overdrive settings that will lead to better response times and better motion clarity. But of course, there's still a major drawback of this technology: backlight flickering. And I mean, some people may prefer the enhanced motion clarity over a flicker-free backlighting, but I myself can't stand a flicker backlight, as even though I can't perceive it in that precise moment, my eyes will get severely strained after some hours, and that's one of the reasons why manufacturers embraced flicker-free technology as the norm. In my opinion, seriously, just keep it off. In terms of overall picture quality, even the KTC H27T22 is outstandingly good for a $250 monitor. I mean, my brother's 27" 1440p BenQ has only 144Hz and a very limited stand with no adjustable height, and cost €300 last year, and it was kind of in a sale because the usual price was $350. But the star of the show is definitely the KTC M27P20 that uses the mini LED technology. But what is the actual difference in between the traditional and the mini LED displays? OLED displays are the best ones we have so far in terms of quality, something that KTC also has available, and that's because they create both image and lighting, meaning that each pixel has its own light source, so when you have an image, the pixels that are on the darker portion of the same image will dim down or completely turn off, leading to almost perfect black levels. Traditional LCD displays, on the other hand, which are the vast majority of the ones in the market, deliver the image, but they do not emit their own light, meaning that they need LEDs to do it, hence the monitors being called LED LCDs. Older LED LCD monitors could have as few as 10 LED lighting zones, leading darker images to look overly lit or even grey. But most recent LED monitors have way more lighting zones, leading to a much better picture quality than the older ones. But the mini LED monitors like the KTC M27P20 take this even further with 2304 LEDs and 576 lighting zones, and this massively reduces the greyish tones in the darker images due to a more well-distributed lighting. And this, of course, while being much more affordable than an OLED monitor. And I mean, that's great, but things can actually go even further in terms of contrast ratios with local dimming. The KTC M27P20 features 576 lighting zones. It means that zones in the darker part of the image can independently dim down, while zones on the brighter parts of the image can maintain their brightness, leading to a much better contrast ratios and putting them in a much higher ranking in terms of picture quality. Although I was kind of disappointed when I found out that local dimming could only be properly used with HDR, as HDR is not something that I use daily, and in some scenarios Windows is completely broken with it, leading to washed out colors. And sure, the contrast ratio is usually much better with HDR, and it isn't the monitor's fault, most likely Windows or GPU driver's fault. But the point is, using local dimming with SDR is doable, but you'll be able to see the monitor dimming zones dimming up and down according to the monitor's picture brightness, creating a very hard to enjoy experience, with good color accuracy in the brighter parts, but washed out colors in the darker ones. But once again, if HDR is working fine for you in terms of colors, or if you just like the way it looks, all you have to do is put the local dimming to auto, as it massively improves the picture quality when having HDR enabled, and it will definitely bring you a better experience in some games that natively support it. But as for me, I prefer to use this monitor as SDR only. And I have no regrets, as this is one of the most beautiful monitors I've ever messed with across the years. The 4K resolution on a 27 inches panel delivers a very good pixel density that won't allow you to see any pixel even at 5 cm away, and will lead of course to a much more enjoyable experience even for the normal usage. As for the KTC H27T22, I must say that once again, at this value of $250, I find this monitor unbeatable. You have a 1440p 10-bit 165Hz IPS panel with a very good picture quality and a monitor stand that actually serves the user. We also have HDR10 support, but we're talking about a paper support mostly. But still, this makes the KTC H27T22 one of the best monitors that you can get in this price bracket, both in terms of quality and features. So overall, both these monitors are excellent options in terms of price brackets, even without HDR and local dimming. In the $800 price bracket, you can usually get monitors like the KTC M27P20, but generally they won't be mini LED and they'll be VA panels instead of IPS. And if they're IPS, well, they won't be 4K 160Hz, and of course won't deliver as many features as the M27P20 does. And the same goes for the H27T22, because most monitors in this price tag will either feature a lower refresh rate, lower resolution or worse picture quality. And when they're on par with it, like my brother's BenQ, they often lack in terms of ergonomics, something that this monitor has you covered for. To finalize, the KTC OSD is not bad at all, and I actually like the fact that it shows the current refresh rate as my recent LG does. The difference in settings in between both monitors is not much, with the M27P20 having a bit more options due to local dimming, reverse charging and KVM switch, but overall being more or less the same. Although I would like to have the button in the bottom of the monitor, as I find it much easier to use and more accessible independently of the height adjustment you have on your monitor. While on the KTC M27P20, due to the monitor's thickness, messing around with the OSD can sometimes be tiring to your wrists. And these are basically the only turn-offs that I see in these monitors. For example, the KTC H27T22 would be an amazing buy for people getting introduced to 1440p, because you have an affordable monitor with an IPS panel with good color accuracy, high refresh rate and lower pixel response times, while people wanting to take it a step further to 4K could easily go to the KTC M27P20, as it also delivers a more affordable 4K 160Hz IPS panel with outstanding color accuracy and lots of features that might actually facilitate your day-to-day usage, like for example the KVM switching and the 90 watts reverse charging. And well, I guess that's all for today's video. I want to thank once again KTC for sending the monitors, for reviewing. They are both great options, like I have been telling you across all the video. They are great options, and even more the KTC H27T22 for that price, $250, sorry. I think once again that it is unbeatable. You have all you need in terms of ergonomics, picture quality, refresh rates, everything at a very, very low price. And if you want to take it a step further with lots of features, even better quality and local dimming, for example, with better HDR, then the KTC M27P20 is the way to go, definitely. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it as you always do, and as I always ask you to do. And don't forget, leave your comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about these monitors, and if you are thinking about actually getting one or not. Also, links are in the description for you to search for the products if you want to. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.